Hello, I am going live, happy new moon, to talk about how to fill out a new moon focus wheel. And if you would like to do this for yourself, this is a free PDF on my website. Link is in the bio. Go to resources and it's the new moon focus wheel. You can print one out and you can create one for yourself. This is what I use to help my own evolutionary process, to keep myself accountable, to move through every moon month, is specifically using this. So if you've been watching my lives where I burn the old focus wheels, you see how my process is. I burn the old focus wheel. If there are any spokes left after the burn, I carry those over to the next moon month. So for 3 months, I've had little pieces that I've been carrying from month to month. And specifically, my intentions have been refined over the past 3 months about being self-endorsing, self-approving, and moving through those energies. So I got a clean burn yesterday. I am very grateful for that. I am so elated to move through that completely clean and knowing, and I do feel that. So when you embody something, you can feel it. Once something is embodied, right? Because prior to it being embodied, it's just knowledge. Knowledge is something that you've been taught or told, right? Or memory from an experience. And so that's memory, right? I've had this experience and I've stored it in memory. That's knowledge. But if you take the good parts and integrate it and release the parts that are not serving you, that's called integration. That's always the deeper aspect of healing. That's how we evolve, because that then becomes wisdom. And wisdom is meant to be shared. So as soon as I embody something, I can share it. And I have said this many, many times, I can only take my clients as deep as I have gone myself. This is part of what motivates me to be accountable, to continually evolve, to do the deeper work, because this is my path and my purpose, okay? So what specifically I've been moving through now, making this transition from being embodied and mastering being self-approving, self-appraising, self-appreciating, right? Which means that I can actually feel confident in everything that I'm expressing, because I know, first of all, that it's spirit moving through me. Second of all, that I am heart-centered. Third of all, that I am integrous. So these are all attributes of spirit, not attributes of the human operating from an ego. This is an embodied human operating from spirit, okay? So I already know that about myself and I feel confident, right? What has been showing up for me specifically is that when someone says something cruel to me or about me, I take it very personal. And I always reflect on myself. I don't go to fisticuffs. I've matured past that. That's something else. I have the table so close to me so that I can do this. I'm just moving back a little bit. That's why every time I talk, I've got the smoke. I have my incense going. So anyhow, back to that. When I move into something like that and someone says something, I self-reflect. Why did this show up for me? Okay? And what I am starting to see most of recent is that there is a malicious nature about this. And it's painful because these are people close to me. But it has nothing to do with me, okay? And in those instances, it's me harming myself. So that's something I can manifest, right? Because if I allow them to be in my inner sanctum and still slander me, that's a me problem, right? If people online, random people want to slander me, that's a them problem, right? So this is what I am doing now in this new moon, new moon month focus wheel, okay? So the focus wheel is always about seeds. What seeds am I planting? And we have to remember that intention is everything, okay? If it is a soul intention, a heart-centered intention, it will always be evolutionary driven. It will always take you forward into your highest self, towards your highest self. It will be to stay in alignment with your highest path and purpose, okay? If it is an ego intention, it's always about out here, okay? What do they think about me? Will they love me? Will they like me? And what will that mean about me if they love me? It's about self-glorification. The ego only ever wants to self-glorify. The spirit wants to be the highest embodiment of self, because that is divine service. But it is never, never, never self-sacrificing or self-deprecating. Okay? The ego will have you betray yourself at every turn. And that's the paradox of being human. This is the complete gift that Aries teaches us. How do we bring ourselves back to unity consciousness? By actually considering the self first and always. And Elizabeth is an Aries, Danielle is an Aries, and so it's no coincidence that these ladies are on this live. Like, mind-blowing. So I look to my son a lot because he is self-approving, right? And he also doesn't give a flying fuck what anybody thinks about him. And I've always admired that about him. I tend to have like a soft spine when it comes to stuff like that. And I know it's my wounding, right? Because it does bother me. I don't operate from a place like, I hope they like me. But if I hear that they've said something about me, I'm like, why would they do that, right? And so I've been kind of just mulling that over. And it's interesting when you start to entertain a specific intention, because I've already been entertaining this intention probably 4 days ago, moving into the end of the last moon month, and how things will just come up. And I'm not even speaking this aloud. This is the first time I'm really speaking it aloud, that it will come up into my reality to show me like, hey, it's not you. This is what you have to do, right? Those are the intentions that I take into my seeding, right? Because think of it like every moon month, I am cultivating a garden, right? And our focus wheel is the seeds, right? We really don't know how it's going to end up, but this is the intention I'm going in with. So when you go onto my website, link in the bio, go to resources, go down to the free PDFs. This is the new moon focus wheel. Print you out one and try it out. So the center of the focus wheel is always my big goal, my big intention. This is what I intend to embody. This is the knowledge that I want to turn into wisdom, because remember, it has to be embodied to become wisdom. It's not wisdom until you know it, in your body know it, okay? So my big goal is love is a shared experience. Love is my shared experience. So remember in the beginning, I talked about, it doesn't matter if everyone out here talks smack about me, because people will naturally have haters, right? Because I know my existence triggers a lot of people. So people are agitated by me all the time. That's alchemy. So what I am eliminating and what my intention is in this seeding is to remove those that I have allowed to get super close to me that are hateful, that are malicious, that are purposely trying to sabotage me and my path, that are talking out of both sides of their mouths, right? And there was a quote that came up actually a week ago. So it was actually that quote that I felt into, and I was like, ooh, that struck a chord. That is probably what I should work on. And it says, be careful who you trust. Salt and sugar look alike. And I was like, ooh, I fucking felt that, right? And it will happen. What's interesting is that a lot of the people where I take it personal are the ones that I have worked with. I have let them get closer to me. I have invested my own energy and time into helping them. And then they have the audacity, and yes, it's audacious, they have the audacity to say anything negative about me. And here's the thing. The work that I do, the divine work that I do in creating safe containers and holding space for people and guiding them into meeting themselves is divine work, and it's not for the weak. And this business of helping people meet themselves and raising their frequency takes discipline. So you can have that in an experience with me, but leaving that experience with me and turning that knowledge now from that experience into wisdom takes discipline. And what those people lack is the discipline to carry themselves through it. So they have the audacity to slander me because they lack discipline. So I started to realize these things, and I'm like, that is a me problem because I'm allowing them in. And I started to recognize, like, that's my trauma. I allow these malicious people close to me because I believe on some subconscious level that I can love them deep and hard and strong enough that it will transform them. But that's an impossibility, y'all. So love is my shared experience, is my big goal. That's my seed. And to fill out the other spokes of a focus wheel, you have to think of what other statements have to be true in order for this to be true. The big goal, the big seed, right? And so when you're filling out your focus wheel, I want you to write that in the first person possessive, which means I'm going to say this in a way that makes it sound like it already exists. I'm not going to say I will, I'm going to, right? That's putting it somewhere in the future. I want, that's in the future. If you put something in the future it will stay. Okay? If you put something in the past it will stay. You have to talk in presence, because presence is the only place, right? The present is the only place that's real. So you can only experience reality here and now, okay? So I'm going to read my spokes. If there are any questions, I'll answer questions, and then I'm just going to set this. I've done new moon focus wheel videos before, but I like keeping it fresh. Those other videos, I talk a lot about, like, hey, don't try to manifest something material, right? Like, I want a Maserati. I talk about that. I joke about that. Like, unless you actually need transportation, don't manifest a car. That's disrespectful to you, right? Like everybody's purpose here is to become our most embodied and highest self. And that doesn't take anything material to do. Okay? So, these are my spokes. This was a quote that I saw, and I don't know who the author is, but I thought it was so good. Okay? Pressure is a privilege. It means that people trust you. So, I trust me. People trust me. So, does it matter that there are these other slanderous, audacious beings hating on me? Absolutely not. There's another quote that I love, but it's not one of my spokes. It was said by Oprah Winfrey. She said, "You cannot be friends with someone who wants your life." And man, that strikes a chord with me too. Because I have had people purposely try to get close to me to watch me. And then they try to emulate me and then slander me. So, being more discerning, right? So, I said, I am careful who I trust. I am discerning. Salt and sugar look alike. So these are my spokes, right? I'm going through all these statements that are truths. I am love, and I surround myself with love. I do not tolerate malice. I hold accountable those who attempt to harm me. Now, there's a difference between someone harming you unknowingly, right? They said something that was a little sideways or whatever. But when haters purposely try to insert themselves in your life and get close to you, that's malicious. And that's purposely trying to harm you to take you down a notch, right? And that's narcissistic. So I hold accountable those who attempt to harm me. I eliminate haters from my inner sanctum. I am not in competition with anyone, right? So if I feel, because I feel that sometimes, like someone is trying to compete with me, if I feel that, accountability will follow. I surround myself with supportive people. Now, I welcome criticism. Constructive criticism or constructive feedback. I welcome that. We can only begin to see our shadow through relationship. I welcome that. I embrace that. The opportunity to grow if someone shows me that. What I don't like is the disrespect of purposely trying to make you look bad, because that is it's narcissistic. But I wonder if it's going to show up on my iPod. I did a screenshot. This is another thing that came up, and this is synchronicity, right? People talk about like repeating numbers. The kind of synchronicities I get are very complex. So there's this woman, psychology with Dr. Anna. I've never seen her before ever, and this video popped up, not on Instagram, so it wasn't an algorithm thing. Showed up on YouTube, and she put the specific definition of haters. They're expressing criticism in a way that is rude. They are nitpicking. They try to cause emotional harm. So it's like a purposeful thing, and sabotaging your success. So there is almost like it savors of sadism, and I've had that in my experiences. So I know it is the grit of my own childhood trauma that these people even fall on my radar. And it's now my job to work on evolving past allowing them into my experience. That's a me problem. So that's where I come into, I surround myself with supportive people. I do not allow others to sabotage me. And you can feel that when you're being set up, specifically when you're being set up, or when someone is trying to make you look, purposely trying to make you look ignorant, right? I do not allow others to use me as sustenance, and that's the biggest one. I do pay very close attention to how I feel when I spend time with someone, and it is such a rarity that I actually allow people into my inner circle, share a meal with them, talk to them on the phone. Like, it is rare. If I talk to you on the phone, please know that that's rare. Even texting, like who I respond to, who I engage with, is so rare. But you can tell when someone is using you as sustenance because you feel so completely drained. But if you, like, I'm a very devoted friend. So I engage with the people that I respect, love, admire consistently. And I'm very disciplined in that way because that's how I am. It's not a duty, it's not an obligation. And I will tell you from experience, never ever have I had a friend who's that devoted. Ever. Never in my life have I had a friend that offers that level of devotion to me. And I'm not mad about it because I know I'm rare. But hopefully that will magnetize towards me. So I'm not going to say it doesn't exist, because I exist. And if I exist, surely that level of devotion exists as well. Because I am consciousness and I'm tapped into the collective. But I notice that when I offer that devotion to my friends consistently and then drop off, maybe say I'm busy, not as a test. I never do it as a test, because if you do it as a test, that's an indicator that you're also doing it as a manipulation. So be really careful. Remember, I said intention is everything. If I get busy and I don't do it, I don't hear from them. And that's my indicator that, whoa, maybe we wouldn't even have a friendship if I wasn't the one keeping it going. And those are the things that I need to actually question, because I don't hold them accountable for that. I don't say like, hey, where you been? Like, I've been really busy, but you haven't even like checked in on me, right? And I do want friends that would check on me. I do want friends that give a shit and 2 squirts of piss for me, you know? Like, who doesn't? It's not about being needy. It's not about needing attention. It is about the people that I'm in exchange with are in an exchange with me. There's reciprocity. And that's so important in love, right? Love does not have expectations, but it always has sustenance. Right? So if I'm the one who's the sustenance and it's all one way, that's not love. It's not devotion. It's actually that person feeding off of me, which is parasitic. Okay? So you can see that in all walks of life. And so that's all 12 of my spokes. Does anyone have any questions? There's only 2 of you left on this live, but I'll answer any questions. And it is a free PDF on my website. Like I said, link in the bio. Go to my website under resources. It's the New Moon Focus Wheel. Any questions? No? Yes, Danielle. Do not allow others to use you as sustenance. Thank you for sharing this time and space with me, your most valuable commodity. I am so grateful. And I love you. Happy new moon. Oh, she says, gosh, I love you. Thank you. No questions. Oh, good. Thank you, Elizabeth. And you are ever so welcome for my share. I love you.